Not even a planned cash injection amounting to an eye-watering €1.5 trillion will be enough to prevent massive damage to the European Union from the coronavirus pandemic, an economist has warned Brussels. Dr. Kirsten Braun, president of global trade finance provider Sten Group, said a family feud between member states was also inevitable, further testing relationships in the wake of Brexit. Her remarks come at a time when the EU scrambled to put together a package of measures aimed at mitigating the impact of the disease, which has caused economies across the world to shut down. An analysis published by the National Institute of Economic and Social Research yesterday suggested the Eurozone, officially known as the euro area, consisting of 19 countries which have adopted the euro as their currency, would shrink by 5.7% this year, and by 5% in 2021, and other projections paint an even gloomier picture. The European Central Bank's Director General Christine Lagarde has confirmed interest rates would be held at historically low levels to make it cheaper to borrow money. Dr. Braun said, like the Bank of England and the U.S. Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank has taken unprecedented emergency actions to protect economies and markets amidst the COVID-19 pandemic. Their actions have calmed nerves and steadied financial markets. Christine Lagarde should be applauded for stepping up at a time when politicians hesitate over fiscal relief. Nevertheless, she added, crises can exacerbate family squabbles, and the EU is not immune to disagreement over the extent of the ECB's actions. With the Eurozone expected to shrink by as much as 15% this year, ECB asset purchases could top €1 trillion, potentially crossing a thorny threshold regarding the amount of debt it can take on from each nation. And, ominously, she warned, even so, this amount, along with the €500 million pledged by governments for business and household liquidity, probably won't be enough to stop the economic damage from the pandemic. Getting more relief will undoubtedly cause a familiar family feud between the rich and poor country members. However, letting the weaker economies implode would be much worse for the EU in the long run. In a statement issued after the bank's policy meeting today, Ms. Lagarde said, "The decisive and targeted policy measures that we have taken since early March have provided crucial support to the euro area economy and especially to the sectors most exposed to the crisis. In particular, our measures are supporting liquidity conditions and helping to sustain the flow of credit to households and firms, especially small and medium-sized enterprises (SMEs), and to maintain favorable financing conditions for all sectors and jurisdictions. We welcome the measures taken by euro area governments and the European institutions to ensure sufficient healthcare resources and to provide support to affected companies, workers and households." At the same time, continued and ambitious efforts are needed, notably through joint and coordinated policy action, to guard against downside risks and to underpin the recovery. We decided to keep the key ECB interest rates unchanged. We expect them to remain at their present or lower levels until we have seen the inflation outlook robustly converge to a level sufficiently close to, but below, 2% within our projection horizon, and such convergence has been consistently reflected in underlying inflation dynamics. She concluded, regarding fiscal policies, an ambitious and coordinated fiscal stance is critical, in view of the sharp contraction in the euro area economy. Measures taken should as much as possible be targeted and temporary in nature in response to the pandemic emergency.